All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of a debate here on the Two Savage Four Democrats podcast. We are joined today by radical left-wing flat earther Jay. Is that your name? Okay, someone turn
Indeed,
that
yes,
to me.
Jay DeCasby.
What? Can you say that again?
Me? Oh, sorry. Yes, Jay DeCasby. Yeah.
Okay, Jay DeCasby is joining us today. He is the flat earther here for the show. So we're going to get started with the debate. Now, we've debated flat earth. If you've watched any of our debates in the past, you know we've debated people like Kent Hovind, PhD, and a couple people like that. So if you've watched these debates, I know you guys these. So we're bringing another one to you guys. And here we go. So why don't we start off with a couple of questions? Because, when it comes to things like conspiracy theories, it's not just about the conspiracy theory itself. It's a fundamental disagreement with a certain part of the establishment, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. When I present to you something like a scientific theory or, something of that nature, where do you draw the line in terms of believing in science? Because I know that there's a certain amount of if you're a flat earther, there's a certain point in which you say, the scientific community in general, because a lot of the scientific community says that the Earth is round, or the majority, all of the scientific community. Yeah. So, so at some point you're saying no to them, and you're moving kind of over into a more conspiracy-based idea. So, at what point do you start to disagree with the scientific community, or do you disagree with them in general?
Well, you got to understand first of all that science is very different from what modern science looks like, because science, physics, and math actually prove the flat and motionless Earth. But
that's perfect. I actually have a math argument I want to bring up later, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. But what you got to understand is that the current views of science is actually scientism. There's a difference between science and scientism. Scientism is a religion. Scientism says that Scientism says that anything that science...
Huh?
Can I respond when he's done, Dylan?
Scientism says that anything that science... Sorry?
Oh, let me respond. Can I respond real quick?
Can I respond one? I just want to make one point really quick.
Sure, I'll go after you.
Sure.
Okay, so you said that scientism is a religion, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it says the definition of a religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. I do not advocate...
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
And there's no religious or science church we go to. I mean, science is made up of a bunch of individuals doing studies, and individuals tear each other's studies apart. So to say it's a religion is pretty dishonest, in my opinion. A religion is thinking God made a flying disc.
So let me just elaborate on that real quick before you guys get confused and stuff. So is the notion that... I'm sorry?
No, I was just going to say that's a common argument we hear. We're not confused. It's just a bad argument. Kent Hovind said the same thing. It's a religion.
Well, it doesn't have a superhuman or godlike under, I guess, of the point. But the point of a religion is to believe something without having a proven established fact, right?
So proven established fact. Where do you think what proves a fact to you? What type of evidence would I have to present to you for you to say this is a fact, regardless of flat Earth, regardless of anything? What to you proves that something is a fact?
And if I could mathematically prove to you the Earth is not flat, would you be willing to abandon your religion or your beliefs, at least?
I have an entire mathematical aspect.
What's the highest level of math you've
taken? It was algebra something.
Do you understand trig at all?
Huh?
Do you understand trig at all?
Yeah. Especially in relation to the 24,901 mile in circumference ball that we supposedly live on. Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, as long as you know basic formulas, you should be able to keep up with my my proof.
Yeah. So
yeah, very much so.
Okay, so let me go back to this.
What constitutes a fact? Your question. Okay. Let me just answer that real quick. So, what constitutes a fact is something that you can see over and over again, something that you can repeat, something that you can observe, something that mathematically checks out, something that is not just somebody's belief.
So
that's the,
I'd like to respond
that's the difference between.
So something like gravity, then, right?
And also, I want to point out that
sure.
if you're defining religion as believing something, then everything's religion. Do you believe you're going to wake up tomorrow?
Yeah. Anyway, so here.
Let me ask him a question real quick. Do you believe you're going to wake up tomorrow morning?
Do I believe? I can't believe it because I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you will. And that doesn't make it a religion. It's everything that you when you do anything, you have a small leap of faith you might be taking. But if it's based on fact and evidence, that's not really a huge leap of faith you're taking. And if you're defining a religion as believing in something, I think that's a very poor definition.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between believing in something and believing. Because, for example, if I believe that if I cut a tree open, there's going to be wood inside, that's a different kind of belief than if I believe that I can on Mars or Saturn. That's a very different kind of belief.
No, I mean, so the thing is if you can believe in both of those things pretty accurately. So let me. You were talking about facts, right? You were saying facts over and over again. Would you agree that something is, we'll take something very basic, gravity, right? Something that's been proven over and over again. It's been used, for the discovery of many planets. The way we've discovered exoplanets is through gravity. We utilize gravity all the time. We utilize gravity when, I know you don't believe we went to the moon, but when we went to the moon, we utilized gravity then. Would you agree that gravity is a proven fact?
Well, it is a scientific theory before anything, and I can.
There's theories of gravity, but there's also laws. Laws are
the universal law of gravity. A
theory is a description of something.
I don't know if you guys have already had this argument or debate on gravity. If not, I'd like to present my side of gravity and what
are you gravity is.
Density? Your side of gravity, but your side of gravity,
density.
Your side of gravity is objectively your side of gravity, right? This is like we're talking like
perhaps. I mean, my side. I mean, coming from me, I don't know if you guys have heard this or not. This is something that you can repeat. This is something that you can monitor. This is something that you can record. This is something that is observable every single day, and that's what makes it a proven fact. Versus a theory that
gravity is not
rather inconsistent.
Gravity is a law.
The theory is not inconsistent. If any science, if you take Science 101, then the definition of a theory is an explanation of an event. In fact, theories are actually more valid than laws, as it actually gives an explanation. Laws are just happened.
And gravity, I mean, right here, Newton's law of universal gravitation states that a particle attracts every other particle in the universe using a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two centers. Well, hold on.
And they say
that's not what I'm talking about. You said that it was a theory. It clearly states Newton's law of universal gravitation. So now you're disputing the fact that is a law? Because first you said it was a gravity. You didn't seem to understand that it was a law. It is a law. Because you said a theory was different than a law, so now I clarified to you that it is a law.
Gravity is it's a scientific theory, and I'll tell you why it's a theory. It had to be a theory because without gravity, the ball doesn't work. Gravity is actually what Knighted Freemason Sir Isaac Newton decided to call density and buoyancy.
No, density and buoyancy. I'm glad you brought that up. Do you know the equation for that? Do you know the equation for that?
I do.
What is it? Tell me if you know it, because I have it. I have it in front of me right now. What is it?
I don't have it in front of me.
B equals
PF. Tell you what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. B equals PFBG. What do you think G stands for? Take a wild guess. Just take a guess. What does G stand for?
I know that it's said to be. I know that
it stands for gravity.
And I.
So you're conceding for that to be true. You have to concede it's gravity.
Well,
if that's your argument, gravity exists.
once again, you're taking a mathematical equation that was created to keep this thing afloat, and I'll tell you why.
Math is not created.
I'll tell you why it's inaccurate.
Math
was discovered. Math was discovered. There are universal of math that we did not create math. We did not invent math.
We discovered it.
Math is something like, if you literally the entire universe is mathematical. Without an understanding of math, you don't have an understanding of anything. Now you can criticize Isaac Newton, the man who invented calculus, of a mere bet. He was like, "Oh yes, I'll invent a method." Goes and invents calculus.
At 22.
Yeah, exactly. At 22, he invented calculus. Meanwhile, at 22, you're on a podcast saying the Earth is flat. So,
I just want to say that to not even know the formula, and then to go around citing that as your go-to force on Earth, it shows just how little research flat earthers put into it.
No, I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. I have most certainly seen the formula. I can't, recite it. I will tell you why. And the difference between, I misspoke. I said they created this math. I meant they created this equation. You can create equations like Tesla said. Modern scientists have substituted mathematics for experience.
Where do equations come from?
Well, check this out. So
where do they come from?
You can't just randomly invent equations. Like, you have to invent an equation to reach
you realize equations take thousands of papers of proof, right? And every other mathematician is trying to prove you wrong.
You would hope you'd see that, those thousands of pages of proof, and unfortunately, it's nowhere to be found. Now,
nowhere to be found.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
Which one is nowhere to be found? Please explain.
I can pull up a proof if you want it. I promise.
I would like to see that. I would like.
What proof would you like?
Proof for what?
Pick your proof. I'll go find it for you.
The equation for buoyancy. The equation for buoyancy, because you just told me that.
I'll send it to you.
So while you work on that, let me just finish my thought real quick, and then I'll let you guys evaluate the information that I'm presenting. So and finish Tesla's quote, and he said,
Tesla also thought he talked to aliens, by the way. Tesla thought he was in communications with aliens, by the way, just so you know.
Can I finish real quick?
No, I'm just saying.
So he says, and they create equation after equation until they build a reality that has absolutely nothing to do with reality. So here's what is, and you guys can test this anytime. You guys could try this on your own. Here's what it is: more dense molecules. Do you guys know what density is? Like,
yes, we understand what density is.
The entire equation kind of. We know what density is. Yes.
Okay, so check this out. More dense molecules will fall bottom in a medium. In a medium that is less dense than them, and less dense molecules will rise up. Okay.
Why?
Or float in a medium that is more dense than them. So helium is a less dense molecule than oxygen, and thus
what makes it fall?
Rise.
Because your formula says it's gravity. What makes it rise and fall? Because the formula states it's gravity. That's what the G stands for.
Dude,
what makes it fall if it's not?
You're breaking up. Sorry.
What makes it fall? Because the equation states it's gravity. So if not gravity, what are you replacing G with?
Well, I want you to finish. I want you to finish listening to what I'm going to say, and it will make complete sense.
I hope you answer my question.
Verify. Yeah, I will.
Verify.
So less dense molecules will rise up in a medium that is more dense than them. So helium is a less dense molecule than oxygen. It will rise. Hot air balloon is another example. Hot air molecules are less dense than the oxygen around them, so they will rise. A drop of rainfall, what does it do? It falls because the water molecules are less dense than oxygen.
This is we all understand this. If you put a boat on the water, it'll float, and as it goes over the horizon, it'll look like it's sinking because of the curvature of the Earth. Now, please explain your point.
It's not really answering my question either. I just wanted gravity.
Well, I just wanted to finish this so you could understand what.
I think you're just beating around the bush.
Because H2O is less dense than oxygen, and in the pool, the bubble will rise. Now, a wooden pencil, this is important, a wooden pencil, for instance, it will fall. Why? Because the air molecules
because of gravity
are less dense. Listen, the air molecules are less dense than the molecules of the wooden pencil. But when it hits the water, what does the wooden pencil do? It floats. It floats because the water molecules, the molecules that make up the water, are more dense than the molecules that make up the wood. Now,
so what makes the molecules not fall or fall at various degrees?
Because
what are you substituting for G?
Listen. If a molecule is more dense than the molecule,
you're not giving me a substitution.
Do you understand that density is a force? It's only a measure of how much stuff there is per unit of volume, right? It can't be.
It also is not replacing G whatsoever. You have to replace G in that formula. You have to replace G with something else, which happens to be 9.806 meters per second squared. So what is that? If it's not gravity, what are you replacing it with?
Well, you don't need to replace the G with anything because it's a flawed equation.
No, it's not.
The equation was established to confuse
You're replacing the G with density.
See,
density
here we go.
Not a force. Wait, hold on. Why is density only acting down? Why doesn't a bowling ball fall in some other direction? What is it?
I want to make a quick point real quick. Whenever someone says that science and math is lying to you or trying to confuse you, that person's just giving an ad hoc excuse for something they can't answer. Math isn't lying to you. The government's not lying to you. Okay. Scientists aren't lying to you.
Okay.
You've just spent too many times on YouTube.
If gravity is a constant force, and gravity is a constant force, right?
You can listen.
It's not. It varies somewhere on Earth. That's not true. I've taken physics classes. I promise you, gravity can vary on parts of Earth.
Okay.
In fact, there are certain parts of Earth. In fact, your weight changes the closer you get to the equator.
That's a very common misconception because the proof that people have tried to provide for this just doesn't exist.
It absolutely.
So, I mean, that gravity is not a constant.
Stepping on a scale does not exist. Dude, I just don't understand what you're saying here. You cannot have buoyancy without gravity.
Yeah, I mean, that's the equation. And to say that they're lying to you is just not true.
The mechanism behind buoyancy, you need to exert pressure on that fluid. What do you think that pressure is? That's what buoyancy is. You need to be exerting some sort of pressure on the fluid to give it buoyancy. What is that pressure? And what's exerting that pressure? It can't just be standing there afloat. Like there's some sort of pressure being exerted onto that.
I have an article here from Cornell University, and it does talk about there's not constant everywhere. It's very close, but it's not a constant everywhere.
Well, check this out. If you jump off a cliff into the water, you will be falling through air, right? Water. You come back to the surface. Why?
Because
the air in your lungs, just let me finish. The air in your lungs changes the density of your body. The moment that you exhale the air from your lungs, you start to slowly sink. Why does gravity pull you down when you have air in your lungs?
Because you float?
Because you have air, and air changes the density, overall density of your body.
What keeps that in balance?
Depending upon
what keeps air molecules where they're at? They just magically hover there? What forces
they are in your lungs. They are in your lungs.
There's air everywhere. You realize that, right?
I'm saying the air that is in your lungs changes the
wonderful.
overall density.
You have
body.
There's oxygen all over the planet. What's keeping it there?
Your question, I don't understand how it's relative.
Why is it staying there? Why is it hovering there? What's making it hover there? This is the problem when you just take G out of the equation, and why your equation no longer works, because you bought into some conspiracy theory.
Incorrect. Let me finish. Oxygen.
I don't think so. You haven't. Oxygen's all over Earth.
Have you ever been in a zero G? Have you ever been in a 0G airplane? If you light a candle,
okay. Actually, sorry, I haven't.
Okay, if you have not, okay. So if you go in a 0G airplane and you light a candle, right? the flame does not rise. It goes in all directions because you can't have buoyancy without gravity. If you light a candle on the surface of Earth or anywhere where there's gravity, it will be buoyant, right? The flame, because it's so it will be buoyant. It will go upwards. But if you light it in a zero-G airplane, it goes in all directions. Okay. How do you explain that?
Fair enough. Have you been in a zero-G plane?
No, but your friends have, and I'm sure you could have them do it again.
Do you know what a zero-G plane does to achieve zero-G?
Do you?
Yeah, it goes up. It goes through its little trouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here's what a zero-G plane does to achieve zero-G effect. Okay, it's not zero-G. It appears to be zero-G. This is what happens. And that goes up to 90,000 feet. That's probably the highest that they can go, 90,000 feet. And then it starts to create parabolic maneuvers.
Yes.
Where the plane goes down, and then it makes these curves as it goes down. And as it goes down, everything in the plane that is not tied to the plane is going to be floating up because the plane is heavier, going down faster. So anything.
Okay, but either way, I just use the zero-G plane as an example because you can literally look videos up on YouTube. I know that flat earthers are observation based, so I was just giving you something you could observe. You could do this anywhere where there's no gravity. You could light a candle anywhere. First of all, you couldn't light a candle in space because there's no oxygen. But if you light a candle anywhere,
that's exactly what I was going to say. In a true vacuum, there's absolutely no molecules. In a true vacuum, there's no molecules whatsoever. So you can't. Those aren't going to be why rockets thrust themselves from the ground, because the fuel that is coming out of the engine is pushing against all of the molecules in the atmosphere, and it's thrusting the rocket forward. If you were in a vacuum, there are no molecules.
Are you asking why we can
move?
Are you asking why we can move in space? Because you were cutting in and out, but I think you're asking like how do rockets move in space?
He's essentially saying that the zero-G plane experiment with the candle doesn't work, and he's making some BS. You can simulate zero-G.
What I'm saying I'm saying that yes, you can simulate zero-G, but I'm saying why rockets aren't flying, or anything for that matter, is flying in zero-G.
I understand that it's not. But the inside is what's being simulated as zero-G. And even if it's not, let me ask you, why is the candle not? Why do the buoyancy laws change then? Why? You see, the thing is like gravity is a constant.
Buoyancy law with what?
Huh? Well, I'm asking you, inside of the zero-G plane, why does buoyancy act different? Huh? Go ahead. What are you trying to say? Jesus Christ.
I don't know why it's breaking up. I'm like losing you. Real quick. Hold on just 1 second. What I'm saying is that
looking up his argument.
A true vacuum, you can't have any molecules in that vacuum. What happens when a rocket thrusts itself up from the ground is the fuel that's coming out of the thruster engines. It's burning and is pushing against the molecules of the atmosphere that the rocket is in, and thus is able to go up.
How high can it go up?
In a vacuum, there are no molecules.
What is your point of the vacuum? I'm a little confused.
So the idea,
why does that?
He's essentially trying to debunk.
I just want to get this through. So the idea that there are rockets or satellites or anything out there flying
you're asking how it moves
in a vacuum is absolutely
let me
nonsense.
So a few things real quick on why we're able to, like, for example, get to the moon. You realize there's other forces in space, right? Such as gravity. We use gravity to slingshot. I know you're still living there.
There's gravity in space.
Well, you have gravitational pull from planets.
Yeah, you're never actually. Yeah, there are gravitational pulls in space. That's what's holding all of the planets in orbit.
I know this is a little bit big. We're still trying to get on gravity,
do you guys want to know why we didn't go to space?
We did go to space.
We're kind of talking about.
It's easy. You can shoot a rocket up yourself. I've put a rocket into space myself. It's not actually hard.
You just have to. You just have to reach
escape
escape velocity.
Did you happen to have footage from that rocket?
Yeah, we did. It was part of our project. Me and a bunch of engineering students did it.
Could you share it with me at all?
I could probably go get it from a professor, and there's millions of other students that have done it on various sites.
That would be rad. But here, just real quick, while we're at it,
I've also put a weather balloon
footage.
up there.
I can send you footage of a live, quote unquote, live ISS feed where NASA's astronauts were interviewed from the ISS live, and they have went on air.
They have gone on air.
On air on multiple occasions to admit that we have not been outside of low Earth's orbit. Do you know what that is?
Flat out don't believe that. I think you're mind quoting there.
I will definitely send you the footage of them admitting that, and this is not just one instance.
What do you think about, for example, Dish TV when they had this satellite up there and you could literally watch the Earth from their satellite? Is Dish TV on the conspiracy too?
Well, speaking of satellites, if you want to talk about satellites, it's interesting because we don't have a single photo, real photo of a satellite.
We actually do. It was live streamed on Dish TV. For several years, you could watch
see the Earth.
Yeah, you could see the Earth. It was round.
No. Did you see the Earth spinning 1,000 miles an hour underneath it?
Well, you realize
you realize that you're just falling towards the Earth at the same speed that it's spinning.
That's like looking at a giant train and being like, "Wow, is that really going 60 miles per hour?" Well, yeah, it's kind of a big train.
Yeah, dude. When something I don't think you understand
I'm talking about
my question
to
you that I asked you was that we put Dish TV, a private company, not the government, not the evil scientist, put a satellite up with a live stream that you could watch for several years. Is Dish TV in on the conspiracy too?
And yes, do you understand? Let me ask you this: do you understand what it means for something to be in orbit? Do you understand what that means?
Yeah.
That means it's falling towards the Earth, right?
We supposedly have 17,000 plus satellites out.
Yes, and it's becoming a problem because it's harder for us to launch into space now because we have to mathematically calculate how we're going to get there without crashing into one of those. They've tried very different methods, but orbit. If you're falling towards the Earth,
where are those calculations, and where is the map for any of those satellites?
You can watch a live feed of it on NASA's website.
Well,
that's fake, bro. That's fake, bro.
Here's what you don't see. Not in a single NASA ISS live footage, you don't see a single one of those satellites passing by or floating by.
Do you have any idea how far
do you understand how it works? Everything is oh my gosh, dude.
The Earth, do you know how big the Earth is? That's like saying That's like saying I have a car parked in California and throughout the country there's a few thousand cars. Why aren't I seeing any other cars?
Yeah, no, that would literally be like
it's big. It's big, but it's 24,901 miles in circumference big, and based on where the ISS is supposedly floating, you should be able to see satellites.
Wouldn't it be easier to see everything if it were flat?
I'm sorry?
Wouldn't it be easier to see everything if it were flat?
We also have clouds in the atmosphere, by the way.
Yeah.
No. There are atmospheric
and light pollution
obstacles.
And light pollution.
Atmospheric obstacles such as haze, dust, smoke. You have water particles.
So could you answer my question for me? That you're not going to be seeing. Can you answer the question you dodged?
So now you're making arguments about why.
Sorry, what is satellites?
Is Dish TV and on the conspiracy too? Yes or no?
Well, I was trying to answer that question. We just got sidetracked.
So yes or no
I want to tell you that I didn't see the Dish TV footage, so I can't vouch for what you saw or you didn't see. From NASA's live footage,
even from
from the hundreds of hours of supposed live NASA footage, and Hubble's telescope footage and all that stuff, I have not found a single shred of evidence of any of it to be accurate or factual. Why? The clouds. Let me tell you real quick. The clouds don't move. The clouds don't move. That's a fact. None of their photos or videos. Earth beneath you is not spinning. There aren't any planes, of which there are supposed to be thousands and thousands of planes floating around.
Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Here we go. Hold on. You ready?
Because you can't see planes.
I don't know if you'll be able to handle this right here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. NASA satellite captures ISS orbiting above the Earth in rare image.
Okay. Where's that image?
Literally pictures of it right here.
Where's that photograph? Do you want to know how satellites work?
And in fact,
there's a little bit better than
when that
someone
happened because
fast
everyone thought it was a
algebra.
UFO.
No. Do you know that satellites are temporary operations that are sent up to using helium balloons?
No, we use rockets.
Bet you didn't. No, we don't use rockets.
Yes, we objectively do.
No, there are more than 17,000. Let me ask you this: you're basing your life on facts, right? So I just want to help you understand. If we have more than 17,000, if we have more than 17,000 satellites out there orbiting in space, and you take all of the space stations around the world that are supposed to legally submit a report for every single launch that has ever happened, and you take all of those launches and you combine them together, and we barely have, 5,000, I believe, that I found on record.
They also shoot several at a time, just so you know. You know they do more than one launch
several at a time. Hey,
so if they do 3 at a time,
they probably just shoot them. They probably just shoot them out of shotguns. It just kind of makes more sense to just stand from the ground and shoot them from shotguns.
What the fuck?
This is just pseudoscience. This is pseudoscience, bro. It's not real.
How? I just explained how you can
do it. Let me go back to this really quick.
You've dodged question after question because your belief is based on lies. You've been brainwashed by dumbass YouTube videos.
Just really quick.
Indeed, this is incorrect.
You're indoctrinated.
I want to ask.
Indoctrinated into a cult of fucking YouTube videos.
I want to ask you really quick. Do you know how large the ISS is?
I do. It's like a football field or something.
Yeah, it's 356 feet. Okay, so do you realize how small that is when you're around the Earth?
You realize that it would be.
Well, hold on, wait. Do you realize how small that is?
Small compared to the size of the Earth. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, do you realize that that is one of the larger objects in space? Correct.
Compared to anything that could be out there, yeah.
That is out there. Okay, so. You're saying how come something that is 356 feet large is not seeing something that's 10 feet large all of the time, or in space, in the massive vacuum of space, orbiting around
And
Earth?
I'll tell you why. Because do you know where satellites?
Dude, if you got in a car from Los Angeles and I got in a car from New York City and we started driving, we'll never run into each other. Yes, there are other cars out there, but we might never add 20 cars, add 73,000 cars. We'll probably still never see each other. That's how big the United States is.
Okay, that's not the entire world.
That's the United States. I'm talking space.
This is. Let me tell you why that's a very incorrect comparison. Because this is not me saying. By the way, you guys think that I'm getting.
No, I find it hilarious.
I can actually.
Really, where'd you get your PhD? Where'd you get your PhD from?
You've
taken algebra.
I can
learned how to fucking isolate X.
Can I
and
speak?
You're trying to make pronouncements about the world.
Can I speak?
Good.
I can send you links from NASA's website.
Oh, now NASA's reliable.
No, listen. We're using their information.
I'll send you links to them proving we went to the moon as well.
Yeah, it only works when
I'm trying to make a point. If you guys could please just let me finish real quick.
Be consistent.
I am trying to be. Satellites, where are satellites supposedly orbiting? You're like, why can't you see them? You wouldn't be able to see them because they're so far away. Well, they're not so far away. The ISS and the satellites are floating in the exosphere, which is right over the
You realize that's
right
still
over the thermosphere.
Okay.
Or the uppermost. Listen, the uppermost layer of the thermosphere. So they are in the same sphere out there. Okay, so they're not far from.
Okay, let me ask you.
Here's an equation. Here's an equation. All right.
Well,
the surface area around the ISS is 2,500 square meters, about the size of a 6-bedroom apartment. Okay. The surface area of the Earth is 510.1 million kilometers. Okay. We can now.
You're saying this as if the satellites are orbiting 5 feet over Earth.
Dude,
they're orbiting literally in the same exact area.
Dude, but there's mathematical equations Okay, when you put a satellite into space, your main objective is to not have it crash into another satellite because that would destroy your entire.
You would think that would be the case.
We want other satellites crashing in other satellites. We don't want that to happen. You can do the mathematical equations using gravity. Let
me just provide you proof why.
By the way, let me just say this: if you wanted to cover the Earth, I'm looking at the mathematical equation right here. If you wanted to cover the entire Earth in international space stations, it would be 204 billion, and that's the largest object in space.
No, that's the largest man-made object in space. Bro.
Yeah,
that was just a Freemason, bro.
Yeah, true.
I have an argument I want to get to in a second too.
Help you base your reality on factual evidence. This
Dude,
is not a YouTube
I'm
video.
asking you a question right now.
You are so indoctrinated. It's really sad. I feel bad.
I feel like if you could let me finish, I'd probably get a point through. If you are a browser, I want you to Google Space and Missile Systems, Los Angeles Air Force Base, California, Corona program, Corona program interview.
Yeah, they've been drinking
number 6.
What am I Googling?
Interview number.
Can I get into my argument while he Googles that?
Hold on. Google Space and Missile Systems Center, Los Angeles Air Force Base, California.
Yeah, Google fuck books.
And then SMC-HO oral history, and then Corona program to save
Why
this
don't
document.
You explain what it is?
And I want
because we don't have all goddamn day.
Because, well, I was trying to explain, and you guys think I'm taking shit from YouTube videos. This is documented fact. This is a documented fact.
You keep saying about the satellites.
Satellites do not exist.
Oh my
satellites
God.
are sent.
Dude, I'm looking at the thing right now. They have a grainy ass picture of an airplane. This thing was written in like 19. Dude, C-119 aircraft number 18307. What year was this written? Here's a picture of a guy with no face. Isn't that funny? He doesn't want to show his face.
First of all, you didn't read through the article, so don't judge the book by its cover. B, this article describes how satellites are sent into space by helium balloons.
You realize we have other ways of sending stuff into space by helium balloons, right?
And they're picked up by airplanes. The reason why we don't have shit floating out in space in the exosphere because
you understand gravity.
Is because the temperatures of the exosphere reach 3,092 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, well, I have an article here by Robert House, PhD, and it goes into detail regarding, and I'll send this to you after the debate because I have it pulled up here. It goes into detail about how
it talks about rockets.
It talks about rockets. It talks about, it actually provides mathematical.
He did it here in Vegas.
No, it's 100% true.
I'm from Vegas. I know how he did it.
Yeah, no, he did it in Vegas. This is a recent study. I'll send you the article as soon as we end the thing. But it literally shows, I mean, he can see this. First of all, he's done the mathematical equations. He can see the satellites.
And there's literally videos too.
Yeah.
I also want to get into my argument in a second here regarding
the math behind it. Do you guys agree with the officials that satellites in the ISS orbit in the exosphere?
Not all.
You can place it where you want to place it. All? Are you saying all? So Voyager 1, which just entered interstellar space, that is in the exosphere?
This is not according to me. This is not according to a YouTube video. This is according to NASA.
This is according to, was this the same article? Well, is this according to...
NASA also shot Voyager 1, so...
Yeah. Okay. Well, according to NASA, let's talk to. According to NASA, we also went to the moon, so you have to submit that point now. According to NASA, gravity exists. You have to submit that point now.
I will submit that point. I will.
The gravity exists. You'll submit the gravity exists.
I can make my point on that.
So you'll submit the gravity exists. If you submit the gravity exists, and you'll. I'm not gonna. Okay, listen.
Sorry.
Do you submit the gravity exists? Because NASA also submits that gravity exists. So if you're going to use cite NASA, you have to also cite all of theirs. You can't just pick and choose.
It doesn't
cherry pick.
It doesn't. You have to understand. you have to understand, you guys. This is why it's so hard for you guys to grasp this. Is that
no? Because we've taken classes that are a little bit more
please let me finish.
Fucking Algebra 1. That's why.
Please
because
let me finish.
You fucking learn how to graph linear equations.
You asked me about what level of math I took. You didn't ask me about anything else I took, which is completely irrelevant to this conversation.
It kind of is. Because math is pretty fucking important. You take physics?
Is weird. Yes, I did take physics.
Where?
Okay, I took physics. I took physics just to know where I took it.
I don't believe you.
I took it.
University of Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Okay, well, if you took physics,
if a government is a government puppet, Alex Jones is a government puppet. He is their absolute shill. In case you didn't know that.
So
the government shill.
I'm a human. Yeah. So if you took physics, and I assume you've taken trig,
absolute goon.
Because you need trig for physics, and you said you haven't taken trig, have you? Because you need trig for physics. You know that, right?
Dude, I didn't. You were asking me about math. Can I finish my point before we deviate?
No.
Please?
You
because you guys keep saying that I deviate.
Dude, keep running away from my question.
Why are you cherry picking NASA facts? I mean, listen. NASA submits that gravity exists. I wanted to finish my point. If you guys could stop.
I also want to know how you took physics without taking trig.
Okay, I can get to that after I finish my point. I can get to that after I finish my point.
Bullshitting us.
You need to understand that the level of the deceit that we are dealing with here is these people can't lie about everything because there are things that you just can't fake.
That's fucking woke, bro.
To a successful pathological liar is going to use fact in addition to everything else that he is lying about, so that his lies are virtually undetectable. Like you guys have.
Dude, this sounds exactly like what you're doing right now.
That's so fucking woke,
Except you're denying reality with saying the buoyancy does not need, or density does not need gravity.
I also, can you answer my question, because you haven't answered my question yet. How did you take physics without taking trig or calculus? Because it requires both.
I didn't say. Or did you
trig. Did you take trig? Yes or no? Did you take trig?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I did trig. As it was.
Did you take calculus?
Physics. I did.
Did you take calculus?
No, I didn't take calculus.
You need calculus for physics. You have to take integrals and you have to derive. So how did you take physics without calculus?
I didn't take a calculus class. I took it as it related to physics. I didn't.
What do you mean? You need to know how
my career on that.
You have to take derivatives and you have to take integrals if you want to take. You have to take derivatives and you have to integrate if you want to take physics. So you couldn't have done any of that stuff you do in physics. So how did that work? How did you derive if you've never taken calculus?
I took the calculus in the trig that I was involved in was what had to do with physics. I didn't have to take a separate class for that. Not that I can recall.
So you didn't have to. So you took no derivatives. You didn't integrate whatsoever.
Are we talking about the classes that we took, or can we?
Okay, here let's. Okay,
no, I just think you're lying to me. That's all.
He's probably lying. Also, let me ask you, because you're cherry picking facts that NASA presents. I am just simply asking you: are you willing to admit that gravity exists? We made pretty strong arguments that gravity exists. So, are you willing to admit that?
Well,
you're not. Okay, what the?
You guys didn't.
Dude, idiot! How are you not? Dude, we have proved to you over and over again that density, whatever word you want to use, none of that is possible without gravity.
I'd like to use my knockout argument too.
That you have been misled.
I have not been misled. How have I been proved? Okay,
gravity.
It's a lie, bro.
Dude,
I said that gravity has density and buoyancy has absolutely nothing to do with gravity.
Yes, it does. If gravity's literally in the equation.
If they did, please tell me why in air you fall and then once you hit the water.
Literally, gravity is in the equation for a reason.
In air you fall, and when you hit the water, you what? When you hit the water, what?
Because gravity's in that equation.
Until you exhale the air, which changes the overall density of your body,
and that's why gravity is in play.
But why are you not sinking when you hit the water?
Because you have air in your
And
lungs.
why
I said until you exhale
why do
your
things
air.
float though? So why would a boat float? But a boat would fall through
Why-
the air, but if it lands on the water, it's going to float. Why?
Well, because the design of the boat is it allows it to have air inside the boat. So
Not just air inside
gravity.
the boat.
A flat piece of metal on the surface of water, it would start to sink. But a boat is designed in a way where it has air that is in it that gravity down, but it doesn't. Why? Because the air is less dense molecule than the molecules of water. So the air that is in the boat.
So are you saying that now? Are you
keeping it
saying
afloat.
that molecules do not interact with gravity at all?
That's
Indeed, not at all.
You're saying not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
No,
There's
not
a
at
reason why
So
gravity's in your
what is
equation.
a molecule in a certain place?
Magic.
What's keeping your lungs in place?
Magic.
What is keeping your lungs in place? It's the structure of your body. What do you mean?
What's keeping the structure of your body? I mean, like everything is.
What keeps the molecules in place?
Yeah.
What keeps
atoms in
your
place?
body? Your body is an enclosed system.
I just asked what kept molecules.
Yeah, but do you know what the enclosed system is made out of?
Yes.
What?
Yes, it's made out of body tissue. It's made out
of. You know what body
atoms.
tissue is made out
Entire
of?
molecular structure.
You know what body tissue is
Yes,
made
I
out
do.
of? What is it?
Yes, I do. It's made out of cells. It's made out of water. It's made out of everything else.
Okay,
I use my
what's
knockout
keeping
argument.
all that in place?
What is it made of?
Why is the water in my body not rising to the top? Like, what's keeping all of that in place?
What is not rising in your body?
Why is the water in my body staying where it is? Why is my blood circulating the way that it does? This all happens because of gravity.
It is not.
Why do I get lightheaded when I turn upside down? Let me ask you that. Why do I get lightheaded when I turn upside down?
Because the way your heart is set up, it's set up to pump your blood because of
you realize it's because you realize you get lightheaded because you get lightheaded because the blood goes to your head. Why? Why does the density change?
Like I said, if you let me finish, please.
What makes the density change?
The density doesn't change.
So why is it going to the bottom of my head?
Because the way your heart is set up, it's set up to pump the majority of the blood out towards the lower half of your body.
What's making the other blood go down to your head? If it's density, it shouldn't change.
I said the other blood goes up to your head. When you stand upside down and do a handstand, then what happens is the blood isn't naturally forced down anymore. More of that blood is
why does it change? The density isn't changing, is it? It has to change if more blood is going to my head, right? Because that's what dictates it to you.
Yes, if more blood is going towards your head, then the density of your head changes because the
blood's pumped. It doesn't just.
Do you understand that the buoyant force that is exerted on a body immersed in a fluid, right, is equal to the weight of the fluid that the body displaces, and it acts in the upward direction at the center of the mass of the displaced fluid? Do you understand that equation? These are scientific principles. This is how buoyant forces work.
So the reason the blood goes to your head is because gravity is pulling it down. Not because the density is changing, and not because blood arbitrarily goes there. The heart's the one pumping the blood. And if density dictates where blood goes, then it should stay in place.
No.
Yes, then why is it changing?
Oh my God, idiot.
I'd like to use my knockout argument soon.
Yeah, go ahead and pull it out, because he won't admit that gravity exists.
Wait.
Just use your mathematical argument.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so here's my argument. Would you agree that if I could prove distance on a flat Earth isn't the same on a round Earth, that we can safely say the flat Earth theory is bullshit?
Rephrase that a little bit. If you can prove to me that the distance on a ball...
if I can prove that the distance between 2 points won't be the same, and that on a flat Earth the distances won't match up to reality, would you agree the flat Earth is a bullshit theory?
That the flat Earth is bullshit. But if you could prove to me,
if I take 2 points and I give you the distance in reality, and I show you what the distance would be on a flat Earth using pretty basic math, would you agree the flat Earth is bullshit? Yes or no?
yes, but you can't.
Okay, perfect. I can actually. So let's take Australia for example. Australia is 30 degrees south of the equator. On the east side of the country, there's this town called Red Rock. Okay. That town is 30 degrees south and 153 degrees, 13 minutes east. On the other side of the town, or on the other side of the country, there's a town called Lemon. It's 30 degrees south, 115 minutes east. So the difference in longitude is 38 degrees, 13 minutes, right?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked on that, but okay.
What's the difference? What's the difference between 153 and 115? You can just subtract it if you don't believe me. The distance between those 2 points is 3,687 kilometers. Now, if you travel that same 30 degree south line for 38 degrees and 13 minutes on a flat Earth, things are not the same. So Lemon's about 13,322 kilometers from what would be the center. And the angular separation between those 2 points is 38 degrees, 13 minutes, or 38.217 degrees. That's called your angle alpha, okay? I don't know if you remember this from trig or not. So if you want to find the length between the 2 points, do you know what formula we could use? Do you remember that from trig? Do you know how to find the difference? Yes, we have the angular separation and 2 sides. How could we find the angle in between? Do you know the formula? We could use L equals alpha pi r divided by 180. And when you do this, can you guess what the distance is on the fantasy flat Earth? It's 8,886 kilometers. That's 2.41 times longer than what it is in reality.
Okay.
So take 38.217 times pi times 13,322 divided by 180. You get 159,469 divided by 180, which gets you 8,886 kilometers.
A lot of great equations. I would like to see
sure.
that.
Want me to send it to you right now?
Personally looked into this equation, so I can't vouch for any of what you're saying.
Sure, I'll send it to you.
And I'd like to look into it.
Are you familiar with
to see what you were talking about?
And you've also, you know the law of cosines, correct? You've taken trig, so you have to know the law of cosines. That's fundamental, right?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. So then this one should be really easy to follow. So there's a plane that flies direct, okay, from Sydney to Johannesburg, 6 days a week.
Okay.
They go 11,060 kilometers, and the flight takes 13 hours, 20 minutes, with an average speed of 830 kilometers per hour. Okay? Sydney's airport is 151.1772 degrees east. Johannesburg is 28.2461 degrees east. So the difference in longitude is 122.9311 degrees, or 122.93.
Dude, I would like to see this for myself. You're asking me a question that I can't vouch for.
You literally just have to take 151 and subtract it from 122. It's not very hard.
Okay.
So the airport.
The thing that I.
Can I finish before?
The thing that I think you're.
Can I finish before you interrupt me?
Okay, go ahead.
Very rude. Okay. Sydney Airport is 13,759 kilometers from what would be our geographical center, and Johannesburg is 12,894 kilometers from the center. So now we have 2 sides and an angle between them. Can you guess what formula we're going to use to find the distance?
Sure.
What is it?
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
D, the distance, is the square root of a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times cosine c. And if you crunch the numbers, which I can send to you, you get that the distance between them on your fantasy flying disc is 23,419 kilometers. That's over twice as long as it is in reality. Also, the Boeing 474-400s that are used pose a pretty embarrassing issue, seeing how they have a max payload of only 13,400 438 kilometers. So they would get maybe halfway there before they would run out of fuel. So it can't be a direct flight. So where does that go? And also, since the passengers do arrive in 13 and a half hours, Flat Tard Airlines would have to get their plane to go an average speed of 1,756 kilometers an hour, which is pretty impressive considering the max speed is only 988 kilometers per hour. So can you demonstrate that for me?
Sure. Are you finished with your point?
Yes, I'm finished with my math. And I encourage anyone with a calculator, you can go ahead and plug it in. You'll get that.
First of all, before I answer to that, please do email that to me. I would like
to.
Sure.
I'll take a copy of it right now. I also have the equations and everything. I have it on my notes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
In fact, I'll put it in the Google chat as a matter of fact. I happen to have it right on me.
Thanks. I want to make a couple corrections to what you said. A, it's not a flying disc; it's a stationary disc.
That's his correction.
Motionless, and
all this map.
That's
stationary.
Listen,
here I'm putting it in the Google chat right now. It includes my math and the equation. There you go. It's in there for you.
One of the corrections. The other thing is, you guys know what
you realize it was more of an insult, correct?
Listen,
you know that was more of just an insult, correct? I was mocking you for your beliefs, so your first point doesn't really stand.
Okay. Do you understand that the flat Earth map is a Gleason's azimuthal equidistant flat Earth map?
Yes, exactly, and that's why distances between 2 points aren't the same.
Do you know what equidistant means?
Yes, I have.
Do you know what equidistant means?
It's a map that has some practical use. It's a map that has some practical use.
Can you Google?
It's a map that has some practical. Well, if you wouldn't make dumbass points and you would refute my math,
listen. Can you Google what equidistant means?
I already have.
Or I'll Google it for you. It says at equal distances. Okay. Do you know what azimuth means?
Yes, I've Googled the map before. Where do you think I got my argument from?
It doesn't stand because equidistant means at equal distances, so the distances that you're going to have at the center of the map are going to be the same as they are out towards Australia.
Yes, exactly.
Refute that?
Yes, because distance from the center point
they're going to be the same.
Boom, I used that. Perfect, thank you. I used that for my link.
Okay, so the distances that you are comparing
are the incorrect
comparing
ones.
Them to are going to be what?
They're the incorrect ones. The distance from the center point will be correct, but from any other 2 points will be incorrect. And I use from the center point for a very specific reason. Unless you want to concede distances are different on a flat Earth than on the real Earth.
No, on the flat Earth map, the distances are the exact same as they would.
Oh my God,
no, they aren't.
I just
proved it's not.
In reality.
I just proved mathematically it's not. It's pathetic. Math is saying you're wrong. You need to either reconsider your beliefs or, find a better argument. Explain to me why my math is wrong. I put it in the Google chat. Go look at the math. Tell me where I'm wrong.
If you let me explain, I would explain. The azimuthal equidistant map is not what you think it is. That's where people get shit twisted. You're talking about the flight times from Sydney, from Sydney, Australia to South America or whatever, and people are saying that these are impossible. They are not impossible. They happen because.
Then how do you go faster?
Because
how do you do it?
Because no, you don't go faster. You go the same exact speed. And
you wouldn't get there in time. I just proved to you mathematically the distances between those 2 points are not the same. So how do they get there? I just proved mathematically they're not.
Wait. I'm gonna send you a link right now.
I sent you my math. If you could please refute the math, that would be amazing. A YouTube video? Are you fucking kidding me?
This is a YouTube video of a guy explaining why you guys have shit twisted.
Explain to me where the math is wrong. Stop running away from the problem. Either refute it or concede. I can't explain it
because you keep interrupting me.
Explain it. Stop
I can't explain it because you keep interrupting me. The azimuthal equidistant map is not the distances are not what you are saying they are.
Yes, they are. I just proved them.
Because in real life the distances are are the same as they would be on an azimuthal equidistant map.
No, they're not. I just proved it's not. I use the law of cosines. I use basic trig. No, they are not.
Listen,
prove my math wrong then.
Listen,
I did the math. Go prove it wrong. Go prove it wrong.
You were saying that.
Do it. Show me where my math is wrong, and I'll gladly correct it. Show me where my math is wrong, and I'll gladly correct it. They are not the same on that map as it is in reality. The only points that are the same are distance from the center point. The reason why your math is
you are basing. No, the distances in the lower hemispheres are not.
In the center are in fact the same. Yes, they are. We've used them. We've used that map before. No, the distance from the center point are correct. That's it.
No, not from the center point. I'm talking about.
Yes, they are.
For instance, an example: the distance between Sydney, Australia, and
Johannesburg,
Chile, for example. Sure, they are not going to be what you think they are. They are not what you.
So, would you agree that on a flat Earth, the distance is
flat Earth map and thinking? So your math.
Would you?
That's where your math is incorrect. Your hours for the
flights.
Why?
Why is the distance wrong?
Very much possible.
No. Don't refute my point. No. Refute my point. Where's my math wrong? And don't dance around it. Be intellectually honest. Where is my math wrong?
You're basing your math on distance map distances. Where are you getting these numbers?
Where am I getting the numbers from? From the center point, where they're the same.
Don't take it from the center point. We're talking about two.
You realize what I got. You realize I got that from. You realize I got that from the center point, correct?
Prove his math to be incorrect or we're ending the debate. You can't keep making the same point about a map over and over again.
Let me explain it for people that don't know, because this guy's not going to do it. For those of you that don't know, the map has some practical use, but we don't use it for travel because the Earth isn't flat. Exactly. And the distance between the center point to any locations will be the same, but the distances anywhere else will be incorrect. That's why I use the center point, because it's just a straight line. It's just a straight line, and those are great. Those work. But if you're going to find distances between 2 points outside of that, they're going to be incorrect on a flat Earth, which is what I was able to prove mathematically.
You're misunderstanding the azimuthal equidistant map. That's why I'm having a difficult time explaining math to you.
Let me explain
because
this. Do you concede the distance from the center point to any other point will be correct? Do you concede that?
Yes, but we are.
That's literally all I used.
Okay, but you can't just use that. You can't just use
yes,
that.
Yes, you can. We have trig. No. Yes, we can. That's literally all we need. And with trig, we can find the link.
No, but remember mathematics, the way that we was correct. Was
literally, give me two sides. I will find you whatever you want with that triangle. And if you took trig like you claimed you did, you should know this.
Dude, what you are missing is the fact that the flat Earth map is not what you think it is. You are just taking the distance from the center. You are just taking the distance from the center to.
And why can't I take the distance from the center to Sydney? It's the same.
Because the distance in the southern hemisphere from continent to continent is going to be.
Wouldn't you agree the distance?
He already agreed with it, and then as soon as you change, he agreed.
Oh, here's even better. Even if you try to say it's not the same, then why in reality is it matching this? Why is distance not the same on a flat Earth as it is in reality? Why don't your religious beliefs match reality? So you can see they're the same. Thank you. The only thing that's different is distances between any other 2 points, as we saw with Sydney and Johannesburg, as we saw with Australia.
All right.
This is very difficult to explain because
it's very tough to have someone so unprofessional, so rude, and someone that doesn't understand very basic math formulas. It's very difficult to have a conversation with somebody like that.
Okay. Would you like to tell me why the United Nations uses a flat Earth map for their logo?
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Are you autistic?
Oh my god!
Well, I don't know.
United Nations use dude. If they're trying to hide it from us, why would they fucking put it on their logo?
You think the Earth is flat because you saw it on a flag? That's the question that
you should be starting with.
You think the Earth is flat because the UN?
I don't think.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Why don't you start citing Shaq?
I got a question. I also want to get in this since you can't.
I said while we were talking about the map.
So you think the UN's behind it?
That's not why I think.
You think the UN's behind it?
No, United Nations is definitely a player in the game, but they are not.
Do they stop us from seeing the edge of the earth? Do they stop us from going to the edge of the earth?
Yes, absolutely.
So let me ask you. I got a question. I have a question for you then. Why didn't any flattard undergo such an expedition prior to the UN being established? It's pretty recent, you know.
Yeah. Wait.
First of all, the United Nations is not recent. It's at least.
No, it was established in like 1950 something or 1940 something. That's pretty fucking recent when the Earth is billions of years old. I know you think the Earth is a few thousand years old.
Yeah, no, dude. The United Nations. I don't know if you know, but that was a huge thing in ancient Rome.
You literally had billions of years to go find this edge, even if the United Nations is behind it.
The United Nations was established in 1945, I believe, and Admiral Richard E. Byrd, which was the new.
So why didn't any flat Earth?
Actually, you know what's funny? People did set out to try to find the Earth was flat, and guess where they ended up?
Yeah,
on the other side of the world.
They did.
Yeah, exactly.
They did. If you guys let me finish and not interrupt.
Before the UN was established, why didn't any flat earther undergo this expedition? It's not like the last few thousand years you think you've been around have lacked the opportunity to do that.
You are ignoring my evidence.
No, you have no evidence. You have zero evidence. All your evidence is based on self-observation, which you've never made.
Do you know how many fucking boats that would take?
Dude, you're sitting here saying that the Earth is flat. You yourself have never seen the edge of the Earth.
Do you know how many boats it would take?
This is
the circumference of the Earth.
Can I finish? This is a very common question people ask. Where is the edge? You can fall off of the edge.
I understand you wouldn't fall off of the edge. You know why you wouldn't fall? The only way that a flat Earth would work without falling off the edge is with gravity. You have to submit it works if you wouldn't fall off the edge. That's the only way you would not fall off the edge because Earth's gravitational pull.
No, the UN would stop you. Do you know?
You guys are asking me for evidence, and when I present my evidence, you
have no evidence.
Or everything that I'm saying.
I got another
because you're not letting me present it.
I got another question.
I'll answer your other question.
Since you haven't explained to me since you haven't explaed to me why
you Brian, let him finish. Let him finish here. Let's see what
answer my question, please, because you've yet to do that.
Before the UN was established, there been polar expeditions. One was done by a British ship called Challenger. It completed a circuit of the southern region. It took her 3 years to complete it and traversed 69,000 miles. Okay, example one. Next, Captain
Where the
Cook,
fuck is the edge? Then what the fuck is the edge? What is your findings?
Can you let me finish? Goddamn.
If you present it, do you not know how to have a fucking normal conversation?
Captain Cook was another
Captain Cook,
and it took him 3 years and
is it a woman?
And 8 days. In 8 days, in a total of 60,000 miles. Another one, James Clark Ross.
What is your point?
Dude, all you're saying is like person goes to the edge, takes this long, comes back. Like that is not evidence.
You guys are talking about boats. You guys are talking about boats. You guys are talking about distances.
No.
If Antarctica,
I'm asking you why no flat earther
on the bottom of a ball.
Why didn't you get your proof
on the bottom of a ball? You can clearly
flat-tard. Where's your
circumnavigate Antarctica.
Why didn't
Antarctica? No one has in the history
of
Earth.
Flat-tard. I got a question.
Circumnavigated the supposed continent.
Where is the evidence?
Of Antarctica? This has never happened.
If someone underwent such an expedition and found a giant ice wall, where's your evidence? And don't send me another YouTube video.
No, I won't send you another YouTube video. I can send you a bunch of other documents that prove and support everything that I'm saying.
Do you know how many UN boats that would take? Do you know how many UN boats it would take to continuously monitor the southern oceans? Do you know the circumference of the Earth?
Yes,
it's what, about 100-something thousand? It's about 100-something thousand, right?
Wow, bro, you are way off. It's 24,901 miles in circumference of this spinning ball that you live on. A.
1 second, let me see it real quick.
B. We don't live live in the times when you need boats patrolling shit. There are things called sensors.
Do you realize how long
there's
that would take?
Things called
there are also things called satellites, but apparently those don't exist.
Do you realize that would take around 10,000 patrol boats? You would have literally the largest
that wouldn't, because I'm
fleet
explaining
ever.
why it wouldn't take you that many boats.
Okay, what the
there
fuck
are
are the sensors going to do?
And there are detectors.
What are the sensors going to do? Someone's got to
Stop interrupting
them.
me so I can finish talking.
If you would make a fucking logical point, what the fuck are the sensors going to do? Someone's going to have to go get the flat card.
Because
a
sensor detects objects such as
vessels
and airplanes.
Who's going to get them?
Stop interrupting me so
You're
I can finish
missing
my
the
point.
Sensors might tell you you're there. Someone's got to go capture the guy trying to discover the truth.
Well, maybe if you could let me. Maybe if you could let me finish my point, I could maybe explain to you.
I honestly don't know why I think. I mean, most flat earthers haven't explored further than the edge of their trailer park. I don't know why I think they would explore the Earth.
None of them have. That's the thing. It should be so easy to do this.
Even if you have sensors, someone has to go and arrest the guy. You literally need an entire agency.
Let me ask you this. Hey,
you guys.
Let me ask you this, Flattard.
Yes.
What does the UN benefit from the Earth being round? What do they benefit from that? What do we gain if the Earth is round? Please tell me.
You can't even imagine it.
Okay, okay, I can't even imagine. Fucking tell me. You can't just go, I can't even imagine. Tell me. God. You cannot imagine what we do.
Let me ask you something. Why?
Wait, I want to know what I can't even. Wait, Brian. I want to know what I can't even imagine.
I'm going to ask him to that. I want to know, why is the shape of the Earth so significant that such a concerted effort would be necessary to hide it?
Indeed, this is the question that you need to start with and not try to defend something that you don't understand.
So what do they gain? Tell me. Stop giving me these big-ass woke comments.
Indeed, this is the question that you must commence your argument with.
Stop giving me woke vague comments. Answer the damn question. This is what
FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover said about our exact situation. The menace of communism in this country will remain a menace until the American people make themselves aware to the techniques of communism. No one who truly understands what it really is what it really is can be taken in by it. Yet the individual is handicapped. Please,
he's talking about communism.
Here, let him finish.
He's not talking about the flat Earth.
You interrupted me.
Where does he get to the flat Earth? Please get to that part.
The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. The American mind simply cannot come to a realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. It rejects even the assumption that human creatures could espouse a philosophy which must ultimately destroy all that is good and decent. This is
sounds like communism.
Dude, what does that have to do with you never mentioned the flat Earth. You just mentioned Peyton Manning talking about his Super Bowl victory. Fucking.
He just mentioned communism. Do you think maybe he was referring to the evils of communism? Did you put two thoughts into that?
Yet the individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy. So
do you think he could be referring to the Soviet Union?
What face to face? No one's come face to face with a flat Earth.
He just mentioned communism. Do you think he just fucking randomly threw that word in there?
Yeah, he's like, the evils of communism all orbit around the fact that the flat Earth. If we would just get rid of this damn flat Earth, we would not have communism anymore. So the reason, according to J. Edgar Hoover, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, the reason that communism is prevalent is because the Earth is flat. So the reason that to the UN, it's a conspiracy. They are advocating for communism, and that's the importance. If we would just all figure out that the Earth is flat, then we would finally be able to get rid of communism. not facts and logic. It's the flat Earth. If the Earth were flat, communism, kiss it goodbye.
Let me ask you a question. You guys asked for a debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not presenting any points. I'm just discussing. I'm taking control of this debate since you're not advocating for points. I am putting words in your mouth because you are taking quotes out of context about communism.
Why are you guys interrupting me?
Because you're an idiot.
You interrupted me. You interrupted me, and you missed the entire point of this quote.
You cited a quote referring to communism.
The monster in the face. If they could come face to face with the conspiracy.
Can I ask you an honest question real quick? Can I ask you an honest question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you retarded?
I'm sorry?
Are you retarded?
Am I
Like,
retarded?
how do you not look at that and think maybe it has something to do with communism? It's not like he didn't fucking say
Because
the word. It's not like it
you missed
happened during the 1950s.
I don't know if you recall. I don't know if you recall, but you missed the entire point because you interrupted me.
No, because it's pretty apparent the context of the quote.
The entire
you think he
point
just
of the
threw
quote
communism
is the
in
menace.
there? You think he just threw communism there because memes? Or do you think maybe that kind of plays a role in what the fuck he's talking about? Did you ever even consider that?
If you don't...
Wait here. I have
think...
a quote here. I have a quote here from FBI Director James Comey. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. See, if you read that quote and look into the lines and read in between the lines, it really proves how round the earth is. I mean, he talks about an egg. Think about it. Why would he bring up an egg if the earth was not round?
Let me explain something to you. There's something called mind quoting, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're taking a part of it that clearly has to do with communism, as you very gratefully explained in the beginning, seeing how he's talking about communism. No, it doesn't have... Did it not say communist?
It has...
Did it not say communist?
It has actually nothing to do with communists.
He pretty fucking clearly explicitly stated it. You're just spinning it to fit your narrow-minded view of the world.
What it has to do is with the menace of communism, and if you can not interrupt me, I can make my point. The menace of communism in this country will remain a menace. Do you know what a menace is?
Yes, it's pretty fucking clear.
American people.
Also,
until the American people is aware of the techniques
so what do you
of communism.
Ronald Reagan, by the way, also said tear down this wall. If you're reading to the quote, he was talking about the ice wall. He wanted us to tear down the ice wall so we could push the communists off the edge. In fact, he was working with J. Edgar Hoover.
It has nothing to do with the Berlin Wall. Like, honestly, it's
how
pretty
could the
fucking
dude,
clear
if you
he's
look at
talking
the Argentinian Civil War of 1812, it essentially proves...
Well, first off, do you even know about the Argentinian Civil War of 1812? I don't see how you could.
If you research the Argentinian Civil War of 1812...
Yes or no? Have you researched that? Yes
we
or
are
no?
not... We are,
yes or no?
we are
have
not,
you researched
we are
that?
not at all... We are not at all on topic now.
Okay, you weren't on topic with communism, so I'll ask you this. They were fighting in the battlefield of the Argentinian Civil War of 1812. The technology that they used to launch their muskets relied on gravitational forces.
Also, I want to ask you a question. Are you familiar with the Argentinian War of 1812? Have you looked into that at all?
Are you familiar with Jorge Wahino or Homás Cepedizón? Dude, it was the biggest war.
Explain to me how this is relevant to the flat Earth.
Because gravity played an integral part in this conflict.
The fucking dam. Don't you know the dam that was taken?
The Hoover Dam. This is the whole study I was talking about from Robert House, PhD. It came out of the Argentinian Civil War of 1812. See, during the Argentinian Civil War of 1812, a group of scientists separated from the battlefield and said, we need to figure out if the Earth is flat or not.
I want you guys to do a little math since we're so good with math. And
can you refute my math?
Well, hold on, wait. Can I please continue with the Argentinian Civil War?
Yeah, you're kind of interrupting him. That's very rude.
I would like
disrespectful.
To.
And it's unprofessional.
I did not even get to the part about Robert House having his epiphany.
You guys are literally.
You shouldn't interrupt people. You're being very rude and unprofessional. Stop interrupting him. Go ahead, Dylan.
Okay, so Doc Mitchell. All right.
I literally have 20 minutes to.
All right, you got to pick your wife.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Look, to go on. I want to make this. I think that point, and you guys will probably.
Why are you so obsessed with fucking interrupting?
Listen. Dr. Mitchell and Robert House, PhD. Okay, together. Because during the war, this is huge, all right? During the war, they left Argentina, they went to the United States, they worked with scientists in the United States to establish the fact that the Earth was round. You know what they did? Do you know how they figured this out? So during the summer solstice, the sun reaches peak at the top of the sky, correct? So what they did was Robert House went to 2 different locations in Egypt on the surface and measured the shadows cast the shadows cast by tall towers in each place, right? And you can do this yourself. This was done during the Argentinian Civil War of 1812, but you can do this yourself.
He's a genius.
He then used geometry to calculate, I'm assuming you've taken geometry, right? To calculate the distance between the 2 places. Then he could figure out how many degrees around the circle of the Earth, or how many degrees around the circle of the Earth, how many degrees around the Earth had moved. And you can do this yourself. I'm sorry. I wrote that on my notes with the handwriting when I was going over this. My handwriting's terrible, but he did all those mathematics. You can look it up. Look up Robert House. All right.
Have you looked in? Do you know about Robert House and what he's done for against the flat earthers?
Give me 1 minute.
I want to ask you.
I want to ask you a question where you guys aren't being cut off.
I want to ask you a question.
My service is back here, and I don't hear half of the shit you guys are saying.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me move real quick.
Let me ask you a question. Have you looked into Robert House refutation at all?
Dude, he's world renowned.
Have you even heard of Robert House? Hello?
Yeah, guys, I can't hear what you guys are saying because of the service here. I'm moving real quick. Hold on.
You can hear us now, so it's fine.
Hold on, just 1 second.
Yo, dude, he has a foundation called the Globe Project.
Yeah, I want to ask him if he knows, if he's even looked into Robert House. Or if he's just completely ignorant.
Ryan.
What's up?
Check your text in 1 second.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, are you guys there?
Yeah, what do you think about Robert House and what he did for proving the Earth was round?
Haven't looked into Robert House, so I can't say anything.
Oh, he was a genius.
See, this is the problem here. If you do not understand Robert House and the work he did with Doc Mitchell.
Do you know about Doc Mitchell, at least?
I don't think you understand the significance of this entire situation. Like, Benny was literally trying to debunk the round Earth.
And he tried killing him.
Oh yeah, and then there was this freaking soldier named Victor that kept following them around. It was terrible.
That's
and they had to work against the
Earthers had to kill people.
You guys are big fans of math, I'm assuming, right?
Can you answer a question about Robert House?
We got to wrap up this debate here, so just
can you refute what about Robert House? We want to talk about Robert House, Doc Mitchell.
I did just tell you that I haven't looked into Robert House, so I can't speak on that. You guys are aware of Pythagoras, right?
Yes, Pythagorean's theorem, very famous.
The one that used the moon argument, right? He discovered the curve in the line dividing the light from the shadow on the surface, right? It's called the Terminator.
Yeah, Pythagoras came up with a spherical trigonometry to calculate the curvature of the Earth. So let me just put this on the table, and please don't interrupt and let me complete this thought, and then I'll let you guys apply everything you want.
Okay, good.
So, do you guys know the
if it's retarded, I'm interrupting you.
So, do you guys know the circumference of Earth?
Yes. If you say something dumb, though, I'll probably interrupt you.
What is the circumference of the Earth?
It's like 24,000.
23,901 miles in circumference.
Actually, 24,902.
Yeah, you're wrong. Take the L.
So using using the spherical trigonometry and Pythagorean theorem. So
Robert House figured it.
So this is what you got. So spherical trig shows that to calculate the curvature of a sphere, specifically one that's 24,901 miles in circumference, you will have to multiply the mile by itself and then multiply it by 8 inches. It will look something like this: one mile times 1 and then times 8. And 25 miles times 25 times 8. The answer that you get, it will be the number in inches. Okay, so based on these mathematical calculations, you can figure out how far beneath the curvature of the Earth something should be. The Statue of Liberty is 326 feet tall, and you can Google this and you'll see.
Do you realize how small the Earth is? Because you've already parroted this argument. We've heard it 1,000 times. The 8 inch per mile thing. Can you use arguments we haven't heard before? It gets a little boring.
That is why we're going to wrap up. You know what? You immediately lost my respect when you did not know who Robert House is. So study up. We could do another debate.
You're also very rude in the DM, I want to say. Very rude.
Yeah, very rude, very unprofessional. You backed out of like 4 of these.
And you're also very rude to Dylan.
Very. Dude, I literally cried.
Are you guys going to disclose that these are your opinions, or can you back these up with facts?
Well, as I mathematically proved, your fantasy's bullshit, and you're a fucking idiot if you believe it.
All right, thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you guys enjoyed, please like and share. Catch up with you guys next time. Bye-bye.
He's retarded.